Now, on our top story, Muslim leaders in the country have voiced their concerns about Israel's continued blockade and indiscriminate bombardment from the air, sea and land of the Gaza Strip. Speaking at Jamia Mosque, Nairobi on Sunday, the Muslim leaders led by the National Muslim Leaders Forum chairperson Sheikh Abdullahi Abdi urged Kenyans to stand in solidarity with Palestine. The leaders announced that Muslims in the country are raising funds to help those affected in the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. They have called on Kenya to cut ties with Israel and recall its ambassador.
In a joint statement released on Sunday, the Muslim leaders expressed their deep distress over the persisting Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the suffering endured by the Palestinian population. The statement highlighted the recent escalation of violence in the region that has left over 3,000 people dead and over 10,000 injured by Israeli attacks on Gaza.
The tragic events unfolding with the dire humanitarian crisis owing to the siege, blockade, and indiscriminate bombardment from the air, sea, and land of the Gaza Strip by Israel has had no parallel in the history of humanity.
Speaking during the press conference on Sunday, Sheikh Abdullahi Abdi, the chairman of the National Muslim Leaders Forum, said Kenyans are deeply saddened by the continued suffering of the Palestinians, with the World Health Organization saying 21 hospitals in the besieged strip have been ordered to evacuate by Israel, leaving Palestinians stranded.
Doctors, nurses, hospitals, medical personnel have been attacked. Ambulances, schools, UN shelters, refugee camps have all been deliberately targeted and destroyed by the Zionist Israeli regime. Vital resources like water, food, fuel, and generators have run out. In addition, journalists and other humanitarian workers, including staff of the United Nations and IRCRC, have been deliberately targeted and killed.
Israel is just completely clearing the land of Gaza. The intention is to move the Palestinians in Gaza who have been blockaded for the last 16 years, can't get out and nobody can come in. Want to move them out of there now, force them into the Sinai desert or force them to leave the country. They would rather die than live. And they are dying. They are dying in huge numbers, bombarded from the sea, from the air, and from the ground.
The leaders called upon the Kenyan government to take a principled stance against Israel's actions and cut ties with Israel and recall its envoy of crimes against humanity, with the United Nations stating that over 50,000 pregnant women in Gaza are unable to obtain basic health services.
We are calling upon the government of Kenya to break relations with Israel with immediate effect. Africa has spoken. Through the Africa Union, the position of the African continent is well known.
And if possible, send away the Israeli ambassador immediately and recall our ambassador in Israel to come back as a matter of solidarity to the people of Palestinians.
They described the Israeli attack on Gaza as genocide that has displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and left thousands dead, including women and children.
We call on all nations of the world and people of conscience around the world to ensure the sanctity of Al-Aqsa Mosque and ensure that it's protected. Number two, to put all forms of pressure on the aggressor, Israel, and those supporting this aggression, so that they immediately cease the shelling, bombardment, siege, and blockade of Gaza and its population. Three, we call on the world also to open humanitarian corridor to the Gaza Strip. Number four, restoration of vital supplies like water, food, medicine, fuel, and other essentials.
We are calling upon the people of the world, Kenyans included, to stand up in solidarity for justice. It's not a question of who and who. It's a question of human being. It's a question of human being killed for just being born a Palestinian and being born in Palestine.
The humanitarian situation in Gaza is rapidly deteriorating, and the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees has issued a stark warning on the organization's ability to continue to deliver assistance to the hundreds of thousands of people in need in Gaza.
We stand in firm and unwavering solidarity. And by Almighty God, we assure them that no situation is permanent and that freedom will be theirs.
The leaders have announced plans to support the Palestinians through fundraising that will go towards those affected by the Israel attacks.
We are also going to raise funds for the victims. As most probably know by now, what has been cut off. Electricity has been cut off. Hospitals have been shelled. Israel has requested one of the biggest hospitals in the area to close down.
Salma Salim, The Muslim Insights.